Okay, this is the most important lecture throughout your whole marketing career. The bidding strategy and the funnel. So every bidding strategy sends a signal to the algorithm of what you want to optimize for. I mentioned that before. Now, whether we're optimizing towards clicks, towards purchases, towards obtaining email addresses, there's a lot of things that we can optimize for. And you install that within the campaign. You are telling the campaign, you are telling the platform, I want this to be the best or the most common outcome. So within all the platforms, whether it being Google Ads, Meta Ads, TikTok Ads, whatever, doesn't matter. They all more or less have the same type of bidding strategies, yeah? So you just really need to get to know them once, because once you get to know them once, you'll be able to take them throughout all the other platforms as well. So I also color-coded all of the bidding strategies according to the funnel. So you can see that the cold ones, impression and reach bidding strategies, are linked to awareness. Then we have maximum engagement, which is linked to consideration. And then we have target ROAS, which would be considered and linked to purchases or obtaining clients. Let's start from the beginning. Yeah, I'm just going to explain all of them because you really need to get to know all of them very in detail. This is super, super important. Study this, know this by heart. Maximize impressions or maximize reach is the bidding strategy that you will be installing in the platform. So that is making sure that the campaign optimizes to maximizing the amount of people that see your ad. Just see your ad, nothing else. Or if you take it a little step forward, it would be maximize video views, which means that you're optimizing for the amount of people that actually complete seeing your video. Yeah. Also know, as we go through these steps, as you go from cold to hot in the funnel, as you go from maximize impressions to target ROAS in the bidding strategy, a target ROAS will cost you more money than a maximize impressions. Yeah, so the brown here will cost you eventually more money per click than the green, than the dark green. So that's also important to know. Going forward, link clicks, maximize link clicks is just driving as much traffic as possible to your URL or to your landing page and for them to eventually read it there. What has to happen if you use this bidding strategy is that you really need to have a good landing page. It's not sufficient to send them to your general homepage because usually it's not really spoken to the right person. There's not enough salesy layout there, like it just doesn't really work for this type of bidding strategy. So there you really need to optimize your landing page. Traffic, the same, but so maximize traffic, you also need to optimize your landing page. However, you can actually also maximize your traffic to your social media page and have visits there. So that's also a thing that you can optimize for. And then, of course, if it's not the landing page, you need to optimize your social media page. If it's Instagram, make sure that your highlights are really good, that the first amount of posts that you have on your page also really speaks to the people that you have made the ad for. Moving forward to maximize engagement. So in this case, you want likes from people, you want comments from people, you want shares or saves from people. In this case, you just need to make sure that the content is really good. But something that could be really interesting here is to test for your organic material. So whatever works really well in the campaign like this could also really work in your organic content. And that would just be like maybe putting even like €5 total, seeing how it works, how much engagement you actually get from it, and then testing different things just to reach more people with the right intent, with the right target audience. Because what happens when you make organic content is that it might not actually reach the people that have that interest. While if you set up a campaign, it's definitely going to reach the people that have that interest because you're installing it. Yeah, so that is the difference. And that is where these engagement campaigns can actually be a good platform for testing your organic content on social media. Leads. So leads are usually a way to ask for an email, rather it being free content or rather it being them signing up for a call with you, for example. It could be different. You could do different things with the email address that you get or with the phone number that you get from this. But maximize leads is also a bidding strategy. Maximize conversions then is a certain action on your website or more followers and messages on social media. It could be either. There's conversions and max conversions, but in all honesty, there's not a difference there. So you can ignore that. That would be one. It's maximize conversions is the bidding strategy, and you just want as many conversions as possible. Target CPA is the target cost per acquisition. And target ROAS is the target return on ad spend. These are the two most difficult bidding strategies that you're going to encounter. Not just most difficult as in to understand, but also to set up correctly. Now, when we're going to be making tests and when you are continuing your education in marketing, and definitely on this platform, I will make sure to explain this very, very well and in detail. But for now, all you need to know is that you'll be aiming for, regarding to target CPA, you'll be aiming for the conversion to cost you a certain amount. So every lead that comes in, I only want to pay €10. Or every email address that I get, I only want to pay €5. Yeah. That is target per acquisition. And then the target ROAS is always linked to purchases or you putting a certain amount of money against a certain action. So return on ad spend, if you spend $20 on ads, you want 40 back, that's double. Yeah, so that's from 100%, you go to 200%. So you want 200% target ROAS. On every purchase or on every purchase that is made, yes, you want to make sure that you get 200% back from what you have invested in your ads. For example, if you are like more a service-based business and you value that every conversation that you have with a potential lead could bring you up to, I don't know, let's say €10,000, yeah? So then you want to put quite a high price on what is each lead that comes in. You'll want to say, okay, each lead that comes in is valued for me €200. Okay, so in that case, maybe you'll want to have 3 leads to convert 1. Yeah, that's 30% conversion. Okay, so I want to have 3 times as much return on my ad spend to make sure that I actually get a good lead out of it. So in that case, you'll want 800 or €600 back for every 200 that you spend in. And that's 300%. That's how target ROAS works. I hope that is explained well, and if not, feel free to ask questions in the community. I'm sure that more people would be interested in getting an extra explanation there as well. We're going through the funnel again. So we're starting with awareness. This is a cold audience and an audience that has never heard of you before. So the goal is to reach visibility, and you're not asking for anything. You just want to make sure that they get to know you. So again, budget-wise, this is where the most budget comes in. And regarding to what is the actual bidding strategy, it would be maximize impressions, maximize video views, or maximize the traffic to your website. Again, you are not asking anything in return. You are just putting yourself out there and making sure that they actually get to know you. That's awareness. Consideration is when you're warming the traffic up and people are actively thinking about buying your solution, about being a part of your world. And this is where the messaging needs to shift from a brand storytelling to really value and differentiation. Yeah, so why would they choose you over anyone else? Why is it important that they go with you over anywhere else? So this is where quality matters. This is where your story matters. This is how you organize things matters. So you need to be very creative and very authentic about who you are and how you do things, so that the right people can actually find you here. You could use maximize traffic as a bidding strategy here to send them to a landing page. But again, this is not the normal landing page. This would be a very specific, well-written, well-considered landing page to not only warm them up, but also convert them and maybe get an email address from. Engagement would be really good here. So just getting interactions on your social media content or on your free content on your blog, and eventually offering them more information and just more knowledge. And you can always ask email addresses in exchange for the information that you are sharing, and then start talking to them through their emails, through an email sequence. With intent, you really do want to go for maximize conversions already and send them to specific booking, specific purchase, or you'll already want to go to target CPA. And in Google Ads specifically, or in search ads, you'll want to make sure that the keywords that you're using are very specific. Yeah, if we are talking about keywords, I usually always only go with very specific keywords. I never do the broad keywords, because usually people that are looking for a solution such as yours are already in the consideration or intent phase, and you don't want to go broad with keywords. You always want to go very exact with your keywords to make sure that you capture people who are actively searching what you are offering. With intent, I usually go for maximize conversions, but not the purchase. I usually go for maximize conversions that they start following me on Instagram, that they start, or that they have come to my page at least, or that they have been a minute on my website. So something that is a little bit more warm, that is really showing their intent in my product, but not necessarily an active purchase just yet. Here in evaluation, yes, I will definitely go for an active purchase, book a meeting, buy a product. Those are the two things that you go for when it comes to evaluation and purchase as well. The difference, I would say, between evaluation and purchase is the actual targeting. So when it comes to evaluation, you go from, okay, people already know me, people have been following my page, people have come to my website, and you are sending them a certain product or service that you want them to buy. But when it comes to actual purchase, you might actually target the people that have already bought. Yeah. And that again is a different way of talking to them. It's a different way of conveying who you are, what you want, or what you want for them, or what you are offering them as a solution. So the evaluation and purchase phase might just slightly different in the type of person that you are talking to. It might sound a bit difficult and very layered at the moment, but you'll see that as you go through this and as you learn more about how to set up a funnel, that again, something I said in the last lecture as well, you don't actually have to go through every single stage. Like usually it really flows naturally from one to another. So just to go over the type of bidding strategies that we would do when we have a hot lead is that we are going directly for maximize conversions, target CPA, or target ROAS. So match your bidding strategy to where your audience is in the funnel, but also match your communication and optimize for the attention within that stage in the funnel. That's super important. Lower funnel strategy, optimize for action, things that are just happening, but they are usually not, they are not based on knowledge. They are not based on education. They are not based on sharing information. They're really optimizes in like, contact us if you want a solution for ... And because they already kind of know you, they know what you stand for. So conversion-focused strategies such as maximize conversion, target CPA, and ROAS, they really only work when people already know you and when you are tracking the things that you are optimizing for. So let's say that you are asking for an email address on a website. That action needs to be tracked. If you don't track that action on your website and link it to the paid media platform, then nothing will happen. And I swear you cannot put that bidding strategy thinking that that's going to happen when you're not tracking it. It's just not going to happen. The system doesn't know what it's doing. You're not giving it feedback. Yeah. So it's super, super, super important to have it tracked and to learn how to track something on your website. And if you cannot track something on your website, then you must do it through your social media information, such as gaining new followers or just a DM in your social media, for example, because Google Ads does not allow that. It's only social media that has that type of tracking within the platform itself. Yeah, so that is just a rule of thumb. If you're not going to track and you're going to use maximize conversion, target CPA, or ROAS, then you are wasting your budget and you're not going to get anything out of it. So the funnel is a system. You don't need to go through every single stage, but every single stage does feed the next step that they are taking. So skipping any stages means that you are starving the bottom. Something should flow. It doesn't mean that you need to particularly use every single bidding strategy. It just means that you need to find a good mix that works for you.